What's going on, guys? This is Devon. Today I'm going to be talking about throwing power from the quarterback position and its importance. The reason why I brought this up as a topic that I wanted to present is not only am I still involved in the football world, but more specifically when I was a player, I did 8 or 9 seasons as a quarterback. So when it comes to knowing what it is that you might need to know, or biomechanically need to know, or mentally need to know about the game, I'd say it got a little bit of credibility there. So like I said, there's certain things that it takes to be a quarterback. Some of the things that it takes, just jotting down off the top of my head. You have to be able to be a leader. You have to have mental clarity at all times. You have to have laser vision focus, the ability to make adjustments on the fly. You have to be able to read the defense. You got to know where everybody's going, not necessarily just the 11 on your side of the ball, but the other 11 on the other side of the ball. You got to know the plays, the drops, the coverages, and all that stuff. And you got to be able to see where the field's at all times. That was just in general, just a couple of, like I said, off the top of my head, things of what it takes to be a quarterback. Now, biomechanically, there's a process that quarterbacks have to go through in their throwing mechanics. When they're going through these processes, you have to notice that there's minor errors that a quarterback can make, and if they make those errors, it's going to cause their ball to either go up, go down, go to the left, go to the right, dive too early, be way over the top, and that kind of thing. The way that they labeled the process, they've narrowed it down into 4 different phases. The first phase is going to be the early cocking phase. The next one's going to be late cocking phase. After that, you have the acceleration phase, when they've come all the way through and they're ready to accelerate their shoulder rotation in order to deliver that ball out. And then you have the follow-through phase, which is that after coming down, the deceleration of the arm and everything like that, once you've already pointed at your target and made that throw. And here you just have a short clip of Drew Brees. He's one of the actually most efficient quarterbacks and the most precise quarterbacks when it comes to completion percentages. As you can look there, he's won 3 of the 4 most precise quarterbacks in the NFL. He actually was one of the highest in college as well, and for that reason is why I brought him up. But like I said, in this video, you can see him go through his 4 phases all the way through and the follow through. And if you look at it time and time again, over all the years he's played, it stays consistently the same each time. So why does this matter? It matters because as a quarterback, being the position, like I said, playing it for as many years as I did, I know that you have to be able to produce a throw that can come out at any moment in time as fast as possible at any target that's out on the field. Now, when getting into it, you have to realize that at each level, the mechanics that they go through is going to alter just a little bit. In one of the articles that I looked at, it actually compared the difference between high school quarterbacks and college quarterbacks. When they went to do this, some of the things that they saw differently between the quarterback groups was certain things like ball velocity, the position of your back foot at your release, how quickly you transfer your weight, your release time, your throwing power, the amount of external and internal rotation on your shoulder when you're going through your motion to come through, and the rotation of your trunk speed when you're going through and you've already come through the 4 phases there. Now, when I got this information, I originally just wanted to compare and why does this happen? And some of the things that it explained as to why they happen were things like biology, the fact that a high school quarterback is between 14 and 18 years old, and in college they're between 18 and 22 years old, sometimes even older than that. Another reason why this might happen is just because of the fact that when you are older, obviously your muscles are more developed, so you have more muscle. Because you have more muscle, it's easier. You don't have to try as hard to put the amount of force needed into a throw that you would if you were a younger quarterback. And then another thing that it was just the knowledge of the game. When it comes to knowing necessarily not only what it is that you're doing, but what your other 10 on your side are doing, as well as what the other 11 are doing, as well as how big the field is and where the ball's at, and all this other stuff that they look at as well. Number one reason overall why we saw that there was a difference was the fact that a younger quarterback, because their muscles aren't as developed and aren't as big as they should be for that particular sport, but at that level they are. For that reason, they don't have as much internal and external rotation because they don't have as much anterior deltoid and posterior deltoid muscle that they're supposed to. So because of that, they have to rely more on their body than it is than just their arm to get the ball out where it needs to go. So like I said, a couple of things that I saw that were not necessarily defects in a quarterback, they were just things that you had to look at and take into consideration when looking at the biomechanics of their throw and how can I adjust it and things like that. So some of the things I found in the article were intervention strategies. Part of it was just the strength and conditioning coaches at certain high schools, they just don't know enough information about the muscles in the body to be able to understand what it is that a quarterback's supposed to do or what it is that they need to change in order to get the results that they. And ultimately for a quarterback, the best intervention strategy that I saw would be just changing or altering certain workouts that they do. Instead of doing a barbell press, because there's only so much internal and external rotation at the shoulders, they're only allowed to develop their shoulders so much. Or when they do incline bench press, they can only develop their shoulders so much because you can only go down and up so far. One of the ways that they saw that you could change this to help with internal and external rotation and deltoid development was changing things like going from a barbell to a dumbbell, something very simple. Doing those small changes like that, noticed that the quarterbacks were starting to develop more and more internal and external rotation in their shoulders due to the muscle development that occurred there. So like I said, by taking this strategy, I've seen that there has been some success. They did do a small little intervention post research that showed that some of the high school quarterbacks that they were looking at actually did slightly improve just by doing these little tiny changes in their workout, was able to give them the body that they needed in order to produce a faster, more efficient ball in their game. And ultimately that was what got them to the success of that strategy. Thank you guys so much for watching. That is the end of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.